Le Corbusier's most dramatic contribution to Chandigarh and to the art of landscape architecture was his design for the Capitol complex in Sector 1. The word Capitol derives, via Washington, D.C., from the Temple of Jupiter on the Capitoline Hill in Rome. The Corbusier designed High Court, Assembly and Secretariat are magnificent works of architecture as sculpture. One knows them to be masterpieces because the images are so familiar. The Capitol stands on the North Indian Plain, slightly above the city. From some points, the buildings can be seen against the backdrop of the Himalayan foothills. Their composition, with paving, water, landform and vegetation, is a major work of landscape architecture. And Corbusier even included some trees. But the giant pedestrian plaza between the High Court and Palace of Assembly is, to put it mildly, shocking. It looks like a disused car lot in Detroit, and, with its green space, is twice the size of what is often described as the world's largest urban square, Beijing's Tiananmen Square. The city administrators describe it as a great pedestrian plaza, which embodies the spirit of exaltation, power and permanence experienced by Indians on acquiring self-government. But it's neglected and empty, except for its ants. We can't blame Corb for the neglect. It's partly the result of the area being treated as a high-security zone and controlled by military police. And it's emptier than he intended, because the Museum of Knowledge, originally a governor's palace, was not built. But if it is built, as many architects hope, it's likely to have few visitors, because Sector 1 is on the edge of Chandigarh. In space syntax terms, the Capitol is badly integrated. So the big shots arrive in white limos, the middle shots on black motorbikes, and the little shots on rusty pushbikes. The Capitol should have occupied the black square in the middle of Mayer's pre-Corbian plan for Chandigarh. But Corb's landscape design is very interesting. Charles Jenks wrote that the old warhorse at 70 was more creative than those 30 years younger. He fired the first shots of postmodern architecture, so that Chandigarh remains the touchstone for an architecture committed to communication and local culture. The doors of the Assembly, according to Jenks, show the local flora and fauna, the river, birds, snakes and cows of the area. The roof garden was designed to remind man that once every year he is the son of the sun. The Capitol landscape is richly endowed with double-coded postmodern features. Corbusier had an eclectic interest in symbols and saw the Capitol landscape as a sacred place with layers of cosmic significance. He saw the complex as the head of a Vastu Purush, the cosmic man, the architecture man who links the site as a microcosm with the cosmos as a macrocosm. This explains why the government complex was placed at the head of the site instead of at its heart. Corbusier used his modular to guide the landscape design. Symbolizing man's harmony with nature's geometry, it combines the Fibonacci spiral with the golden mean. Other symbols are easier to find. The open-hand sculpture symbolizes an architecture and an administration which is open to give and open to receive and subject to the laws of nature. It rotates like a wind vane. The trench of consideration below the open hand was designed for public debates, like a Roman forum or Greek agora. But being on the edge of the city and in a high security zone, it is abstracted from its context and unused. The Martyrs' Memorial is a concrete ramp and trench symbolising those who died after the Punjab's partition in 1947. The swastika is an ancient Indian symbol which some see as a symbol of Corbusier's fascism. He worked for the Vichy government during the Second World War. The geometric hill symbolises the daily succession of light and dark which governs human activity. The Tower of Shadows beside the geometric hill shows how structures can be used to control sunlight, as with Brise Soleil. Its north side is open because the sun doesn't shine from the north. The water features beside the buildings do not have a symbolic role. This is surprising, but they are popular with insects. Abstract art inspired many architects and landscape architects in the mid-20th century. This style diagram shows the rectilinear geometry of Piet Mondrian and others, with the curvilinear geometry of Henry Moore and others. Corbusier was a painter before he became an architect and worked in a style he called purism. He saw it as coming after Cubism, and his design for the Capitol complex in Chandigarh is one of the clearest examples of the influence of abstract art on landscape architecture. I wish it could be more appreciated and better cared for.